Nosferatu on the Super Nintendo was a late release, coming out in October of 1995 in the United States. The intro does a great job of setting the scene for the game. It's dark and gloomy and shows you exactly what this game is going to be about. This is one of my favorite games on the Super Nintendo. It's very hard to come by, but definitely worth your time if you ever see a copy of it. The story is that Nosferatu has kidnapped your girlfriend, and it's up to you to go ahead and rescue her. I really like these short intros to the stages. They show you where you're going, and it's a little better than just having a plain map screen. The music in this game does an excellent job of setting the mood. It's just kind of atmospheric and gives a real sense of dread. I like how they added in sound effects, like the breathing in the background. I don't think I've ever heard anything like that in a 16-bit game. Again, it's really great at just setting the atmosphere. This game is filled with little details. Like right here, as long as you stand on the centipede, it can't hurt you and it can't move. But as soon as you step off, there it goes. The controls in this game take a little getting used to. It plays a lot like Prince of Persia in regards to the platforming and movement, but the fighting is more like a standard beat-em-up. Again, I like all these little details, like you go in the door and there's monsters behind you that you saw earlier before you went in that door. Just kind of cool little touches that they added that really set this game apart from a lot of the other games at the time. This game is full of traps, like that hanging corpse that just came down. The chests where you pick up crystals often have more than one crystal, so it's best to check the chests a number of times. I like how they use a lot of classic movie monsters, like this Frankenstein here, and your requisite ghouls and goblins, there's mummies, there's little jumping frogmen, just a really great variety of enemies. The boss fights of this game are definitely going to put your beat-em-up skills to the test. Usually you can't just wail on the boss in one place and hope to win. This is the first boss, and as you can see, he's pretty easy, but if you stand in one place, he's going to keep knocking you down and you're not going to survive it. After you get him down to about half health, he'll turn into a werewolf. You'll also notice the moon in the background goes from crescent shape to a full moon. Once it gets to a full moon, the boss gets even harder, so I like to take him out quick. Again, these little stage transitions / intros, really nice little addition to the game. I like that they have the shambling corpse just move just a little bit. They didn't have to do that, but it's a nice little detail for them to put in. This game is super tough, and that's its big downfall. Like, this is level 2, this is the first enemy, and he jumps on you right away. You can punch him out of the air when he's jumping, but it's really hard to do, and he's much harder than any of the enemies in level 1. Right after we beat him, we come to this beholder-looking enemy, and every time he knocks you down, he takes away a crystal. He's nearly impossible to hit, and he's just way too hard for an early game enemy. Again, I like how they included some old classic movie monsters. This one's obviously inspired by The Mummy. The best part about this game is the atmosphere. It's oppressive and dark, and it sets the tone excellently. The stages are non-linear, but you'll still have to keep a pretty good eye on the time because it's not very lenient. Nosferatu is certainly worth looking into. It's not a perfect game by any stretch, but it's a very interesting game. I found it extremely hard to actually find a real copy and had to resort to eBay. Usually I like picking stuff up in person, but for Nosferatu, eBay might be your only option. Check it out when you can.